Hello, St. Peter's Prep. My name is Andrew Herman, and I'm really excited to be with you this morning. I wish I could be there in person or via Skype, but chances are I'm probably asleep right now. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a junior at Seattle Prep, which is a Jesuit high school as well. I've only been at Seattle Prep since sophomore year. I moved from Baltimore, Maryland, and freshman year I went to Loyola Blakefield, the Jesuit high school in Baltimore, so I wasn't too far away. I actually went down to the Ignatian Family Teach-In in Washington, D.C. in November, and so I may have met some of you. I want to talk about my own experience with the sweatshop issue. My school has a summer service trip to the Dominican Republic, and I went on that this past summer, and that was when I was really inspired to make a difference. One of the days, the group and I went to a sweatshop complex. I'm sure Jim talked to you about this, but I'll be brief. I had always heard the term sweatshop thrown around a lot, but this experience really put a visual on it. The complex made clothes for well-known brands like Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, Timberland, and others, and the whole place had guards with shotguns. The complex was surrounded by a 20-foot high wall with barbed wire on the top. It really looked more like a jail than a factory. After we finished looking around, we went to the largest slum in the city where most of the sweatshop workers lived. Conditions in this place were horrendous, and words can't describe how moving and how transformative that experience really was. It was during this time that the leader of the group talked about a company called Alta Gracia. He said it was doing wonders for its workers because it paid a fair living wage, which meant that the workers were able to pay off debts, pay for their children's education, have adequate health care, and other things that we take for granted. He also said the University of Washington sold this apparel and that it was mainly meant for colleges. He also said Seattle University did not sell us apparel, and neither did Gonzaga University. And that was really disappointing for me because of their Jesuit mission. This really inspired me to bring Alta Gracia to these colleges, mostly because both my parents work at Seattle University, and I thought people there would be open to the idea. Since then, I've started a campaign at Seattle University. I've started educating students, faculty, and staff about the issue. I've talked with the bookstore and other clubs and organizations on campus, and we're making progress. That summer, I worked at the Seattle Aquarium and the Pacific Science Center, and I started the conversation there about possibly switching to sweatshop-free apparel. Since then, the Pacific Science Center made an order of sweatshop-free t-shirts. When I returned to school in the fall, I found that the issue of sweatshop-free apparel was nothing new at Seattle Prep. It's been talked about for the last 3 years, but no real action has taken place. But this year was different. Prep has placed 4 orders of sweatshop-free clothes to date. This just shows how some hard work can result in real change. These orders have been around 1,300 t-shirts for our school, which is only about 600 students. I think the sweatshop-free movement is something high schoolers should be involved in because the tools and the things I'm learning now will help me when I get to college. I will have already had advocacy skills and know how to start a campaign. Another reason high schools are being targeted again and again by big companies like Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas. But with some education and advocacy, this can change. There are some challenges to advocating in high schools. At my school, I hit some problems because my school had a personal relationship with a local screen printer. But for you, there's some things to investigate further, like finding out where your school orders shirts and apparel through. I want to talk about Ethics Merch, which is a company that sells Alta Gracia. One thing to understand is that Alta Gracia was meant for colleges and the college market. But it's important to think outside the box because when I first learned about Alta Gracia, I wanted to see it in high schools, aquariums, Pacific Science Center, and other science centers. And I'm proof that it can happen and that it is possible. I've opened the high school market to Alta Gracia, and as I've shown, it is possible and successful. So Ethics Merch is a company that sells apparel from many different sweatshop-free companies, but is the only company to get Alta Gracia. They can screen print as well, and if you need blanks to send to a local screen printer, they can do that. If you're really interested in this issue, that is awesome. And I would recommend staying in contact with Rachel because she has many resources to help you, and she's been doing advocacy for a long time, so she has some valuable advice to give you. Secondly, I start by finding out where your school orders shirts from and start gathering more information about Alta Gracia and informing yourself about the issue of sweatshop free. I would also start to share your information with others. For example, maybe writing an article in your school newspaper or talking to some of the teachers or staff administration at your school about this issue. Lastly, stay in contact with me because I'm sure you guys have some great ideas and I'd love to hear them and answer any questions you might have. Rachel has my contact info, so if you like it, you can ask her. As young people, we have enormous power to make our world a better place. Find something you're passionate about and do your part to make a difference. Thanks for having me.